Hi, everybody. Preparing to go live. We're going to begin in a moment. So, where did my thing go? We'll see. There we go. Here we go. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the GoldFish Report, everybody. I put out a little announcement in the community board tonight that I was going to go live to do a midweek POTUS report. Hi, Phoenix. How are you? Nice to see you. Thanks for joining me. I'm going to try to make this quick because the president, as you know, is very busy. So to try to shorten our Friday night report, I'm going to see if I could do midweeks because the president's just that busy. So I want to welcome everybody. I'm just going to put a little note in here really quick and say, welcome to everyone. There we go. So let me get started because I don't want to waste any time. The president's been very busy. Oh, by the way, so welcome to the GoldFish Report. I'm your host, Louisa. Today is Wednesday, March 4th, 2020. This is GoldFish Report number 449. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? 449. Like, who can believe this? Actually, you know what? I have to start over. Hold on a second. Okay, sorry about that. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the GoldFish Report. I'm your host, Louisa. It is Wednesday, March 4th, 2020, and it is GoldFish Report number 449. This is a midweek POTUS report, week 163 for our viewers. Trying to do a midweek report so that we can make our Friday night POTUS report a little bit shorter because it is a little bit long. It's a little hard because there's a lot of information to report. The president is so busy, and this is really the title of the report tonight is the president, let me see if it showed. Yeah, he's unstoppable. That's really the reality of it. So first thing I want to do, though, is I want to screen share something that, I'm not sure if it's going to surprise anybody, but, this is the reality of living in this world today. And Facebook has banned me. I don't know why. I didn't do anything. I was just actually doing research all day on my computer. And next thing you know, it says I can't use Facebook, there's been some sort of, security breach. It made me upload a photo, and now it's saying that I can't use it at all. So, who knows why, right, folks? I mean, I have no idea what I did or didn't do. I didn't do anything actually, but that's how it works. You don't have to do anything. But it just so happens to be I was on the phone today with the committee that does oversee consumer affairs, and they are, taking reports about the censorship on social media, and maybe that's why they overheard, right? So, Facebook's listening. So anyway, let's move along because I would like to talk about what's going on with the president. I'm going to screen share this. This is White House photos of the week, and they do come out on Saturday. So I do my reports on Friday, so we missed the Saturday report. So here, let's take a look at this, okay? Because we have beautiful pictures here, and I'm going to just scroll through it pretty quickly because you can go to thegoldfishreport.blogspot.com and you can check it out for yourself. Here's the president and first lady boarding Air Force One, getting ready for their trip to India. So, and here are pictures from India, just beautiful. This was the arrival at the airport. And it's just so beautiful how rich their tradition is and culture is, and how beautiful in their culture they are. And they shared that with it was all on display. All of that splendor and beauty was on display for the president and the first lady. And here they have the Indian honor cordon awaits the arrival of President Trump and First Lady again at the airport. So beautiful, more beautiful, beautiful. Look at how colorful their clothing is. It's just so beautiful, how colorful and cheerful their clothing is, and all the festivities there. Very beautiful. And of course, the delegation was greeted as well at the international airport there in India, uh, in Ahmedabad. And let's keep going. And so here they are. They've arrived, and you have, um, more ceremony. Beautiful ceremony of the POTUS there with that golden yellow tie. Could only represent a few types of things, I suppose. Never seen him really wear a bright yellow tie like that before, but he's wearing it. And it's lovely because here the colors are so bold over there, right? Why not? And of course, Prime Minister Modi is there with the president and First Lady, and more beautiful customs that they're being greeted by, and the First Lady. So there we have it. More pictures. You can go to the blog and check these out, folks. They are so beautiful. Look how, I love Indian people. I absolutely, I have friends in India. I have lifelong friends, really, being beautiful people who I love and appreciate. And so here's more festivity and culture, just very rich in culture there. That's beautiful. That's really beautiful. Indian people. And crowds are gathering there to greet the president and the prime minister, and the first lady, of course. So here we have some more. We have some uh, cultural performers are seen along the motorcade route with the president and the first lady. Come to the blog and check this out. I just really can't spend too much time on the photos. They are beautiful photos, though, I have to say, of their trip and all the festivities. A packed stadium. I mean, just look at that. Just hundreds of thousands, really, maybe 100,000. I don't know, maybe 100,000, maybe more. It's really a lot, actually. And, Ivanka Trump, and of course, Jared Kushner is there as well. We have Dan Scavino there, and other members of the delegation. Go take a look at the blog, take a look at the site, look at all the people, look at all of this. There's beautiful pictures. Lots of men, though. I don't know where all the women are. Whatever. What else is new? So check it out. Yeah, it's all men there. It's looking like, And behind the president, looks like there's more females there, of course. Interesting. Okay, look at that huge packed stadium, and of course people down on the field as well. So it's really beautiful. Wonderful pictures above, looking down, beautiful pictures, culture and costumes, and just the brightest of colors and beauty. It's just wonderful. And we talked all about this last week. These are the Sikhs here who are playing the band, the drums here, and the president and first lady visiting cultural sites with the prime minister. And we'll just go through this a little bit more quickly. Just beautiful pictures. Please come take a look at the blog. They're presented with a gift by the prime minister. It's really beautiful. Oh my God, would you look at that? Speak no evil, see no evil, hear no evil. That's what this represents. Do you have any idea why he would give them that gift? Interesting. Interesting. Oh. Okay, and here he's signing the guest book. More cultural sites that are just beautiful. And just come and take a look, folks, and we're going to move along. Okay, of course, the most, beautiful pictures of the whole trip was at the Taj Mahal, of course. And of course, now Donald gets to see it firsthand, what the real one looks like since his filed bankruptcy. But it's okay. It's not just a left hook on the chin for him, not a big deal. Beautiful sight for him and the First Lady. It's really beautiful. I think it's really wonderful there. Black and white pictures. And so there you have it. So we're going to move along to, let me just stop and see where all of our viewers are. Hi, everybody. How are you doing? Yeah, India is the new China. They love Trump. Exactly. Thank you, guys. Hi, Kenny. Hi, Georgia. Thank you so much for joining me. We're doing a midweek POTUS report just so we don't have to spend such a long time on Friday nights, but I'm very glad everybody has joined us. There's a lot to report on, so please stay tuned. We're going to screen share some more of the blog, actually. Let me get to the next page. Go to the blog. I mean, these are really beautiful pictures. You're really going to want to check out these pictures from their trip because they're just beautiful, absolutely beautiful pictures. Let's move along to some more already of what the president's been doing all week, which is a lot to report on. This was Monday, March 2nd, background press call by senior administration officials on China and information reciprocity. This is a big deal because there was a lot of talk about, there's some videos, there's some independent reporters, journalists, citizen journalists in China who are getting information out. They were reporting on what was going on with the coronavirus, and a lot of people have actually disappeared because of their reporting. It's really bad, folks. I mean, this is what this is about. This is about changing policy with regard to, having a more reciprocal, fair type of relationship. This is about China and information reciprocity. So this has to do with more reciprocity with regard to visas, visa procedures. What's going to happen ultimately is China, we seem to not have any limit to how many of the I visas that are given to our foreign correspondents, right? So, but China always seems to have a limit. We don't have a limit in terms of how long they can stay here and report, but China seems to have a limit. So the issue here is they usually have like 30 days, and then you have to renew your visa after 30 days. So what's happened is the U.S. government is putting a cap on the People's Republic of China, their foreign missions personnel representing state media. So there's going to be a limit to how many can actually come in. And of course, the media had questions as to whether or not they felt they were going to be retaliated against. Come and check this out. This is very interesting. It says here that, let me just read what it was talking about. Foreign reporters who have been expelled tend to be reporters who have reported on topics that are critically important to international audience. Okay, before I do that though, yeah, here it is. So they're talking about fairness and the ability to report uh, the news in China. The broader context for these steps is a sustained and deepening crackdown by the Chinese Communist Party on all forms of independent journalism inside China and even outside China's borders. In just the past few weeks, we've seen the disappearance of citizen journalists who are chronicling the Wuhan virus pandemic. We've seen a book publisher get coerced into giving up his Swedish citizenship and receiving a prison sentence for, in effect, publishing books that the Chinese government didn't like. We also just saw the arrest of 3 Hong Kong thought leaders, including newspaper magazine publisher Jimmy Lai in Hong Kong. So we're witnessing an assault on free speech inside of China that goes even beyond what it was a decade ago. So what happened is, according to the Foreign Correspondents Club of China, we've also seen the expulsion of 9 foreign journalists from China since 2013. Now, to put that into perspective, even the Soviet Union used expulsion sparingly at the height of the Cold War, as contrasted with Beijing today. So this is very interesting. So basically, the bottom line is, so for example, the Chinese Communist Party's indoctrination camps and the use of forced labor to export products to the U.S. consumers, high-level corruption, and the ways that wealth and power are employed by top leaders, sometimes against the interests of American business, and how a virus first starts spreading. Now, honestly, if we can't get reporters into China to really report on conditions there for America, why would our businesses want to go there? And so these are the points that are being brought up and being made here. So it is a big deal. So uh, they are going to restrict the number of visas being issued. Okay, so here it says, we'll be announcing in the near future is establishing limits on the duration of stay for People's Republic of China nationals, because it's state-run media. It's not, but honestly, with the CIA controlling Operation Mockingbird, is it really any different here? I have to say, almost everything I report on in China, it's like, it's just deceived here. At least they're out in the open with it. In China, here, it's like they make you think you're free until you go to a courtroom and you don't have money. If you don't have money to pay all these fees in the courtroom, then you have no justice. There's no equal justice under the law if you don't have the money to defend it. It's all just an illusion that in America. So at least they're being open there, right? It's an illusion to think there's oversight in the judiciary. It's an illusion, right? Because the judiciary is there to basically protect the people who are in power and to silence the people who are dissenting, just like in China. So there's really no difference. Okay, so let me keep going. Because, I mean, we're trying to make it sound like we're some sort of morally better, have the moral high ground. And I'm sorry, but, this is a contradiction. We have to call out our own faults when we see them as well, because it is a contradiction. Here, they're the wolf in sheep's clothing. At least over there, they know what wolf they're dealing with. So anyway, we also have the president was meeting, he had bilateral talks with the president of Colombia, Ivan Duque. And so this was about bilateral talks, as you know, they always do. They're talking about working on uh, drugs, on trafficking drugs, trafficking lots of other things, unfortunately, human trafficking. So those were issues that were topics of discussions. They were also talking about working with the CDC, talking about, making sure that they're doing a good job to, um, that has nothing to do with, okay, the president sometimes makes comments and things that it's not necessarily pertaining to their bilateral talks. So, uh, okay. They are working with regard to containing this virus in terms of the border. So they are shutting down areas of the border that are very vulnerable. So we don't have this, virus spreading and coming into the country through illegal entry. Okay. Um, so they are talking about also deals with pharmaceutical companies, and also vaccines and things like that. They're trying to find a cure and all this other things for or treatment or vaccination for this virus as well. So this is a big deal. Um, so President Trump, there was a question, what do you think about the efforts of Colombian government to fight against drugs? Do you agree with the aerial spraying of glyphosate? And you're going to have to spray. He says if you don't spray, you're not going to get rid of them. So you have to spray with regard to drugs in Colombia. Yeah. So they talked about Venezuela and stuff. Please come here and take a look regarding if they trying to help the people in Venezuela with food and water and things like that. Check out this. Check out this long transcript about their bilateral talks, okay? We'll summarize a little bit of it as we go through. So the Defense Secretary in our latest issue of West Wing reads, Defense Secretary, this is our chance to bring troops home from Afghanistan for good. After the 9/11 attacks, the U.S. military deployed to Afghanistan to fight terrorists and remove the safe haven that the Taliban offered them. For more than 18 years, America has been protected. Defense Secretary Mark Esper writes in the Washington Post. Of course, we know there was a deal with the Taliban this past week, and this is what we are talking about at this time. But this success has come at a high price. Nearly 3,000 U.S. and allied troops have been killed in action. Thousands more have been wounded, and we have spent more than $1 trillion to keep us safe and help the people of Afghanistan. So over the weekend, they achieved a promising milestone to bring the war in Afghanistan to a responsible end with the signing of an agreement between the United States and the Taliban. It is the roadmap to peace, security, and stability that, while fraught with many imperfections and uncertainties, is supported by the Afghan government and our NATO allies. Thanks to President Trump's leadership, it is the best chance we've ever had to end this conflict. Again, art of the deal maker. That doesn't mean everybody gets everything they want. It means everybody gets what they need, and maybe some get a little bit of what they want. So we'll see. So it again, this is about we have seen the president walk away from deals where the other party changed the terms at the last minute or does not comply with the agreement, uh, said defense expert Corey Mills for Fox News. And so then we talked about, so here they're talking about some other issues as well, talking about the sanctuary city issue in America, which is a disaster. It's unconstitutional. I can't believe that we're doing this, but everybody's sleeping at the wheel, so they're just letting their legislators do whatever they want to them. So that's why we have the mess we have. Um, you know, it's all of our responsibility. It's all of our responsibility to get up and hold our government officials accountable. Okay, so what else do we have here? Protesters. What else is new? Okay, so here he's talking about the first 2 years in office, the number of women in poverty declined by 1.5 million, even as the U.S. population continued to grow, according to Mary Vogt in Real Clear Politics. Of course, this is our Goldfish Report 448 Political Theater. March Madness begins. I was demonetized on YouTube for this for some reason. I have no idea why. If anybody knows, tell me. Let me know. So, okay, here we have the Conservative Political Action Conference, which, the president spoke at. And he talked a lot about little different things that were going on, especially with the you talked a little bit about what was going on in the primary in New Hampshire. Here he's talking about The Apprentice. It's funny, a little chit chat, it looks like. But they were also talking about the tax cuts, the Supreme Court judges, 218 judges, 218 including DC, defeating radical socialist Democrats, fake news media, the crooked politicians, and the hate-filled left-wing mob. What else are they talking about? Faith, values, heritage, our borders, God-given freedoms, and lots of other things here. So, I'm not going to read these transcripts because they're very long and we would be here all night. So there's lots of other interesting things in here if you want to read through it. So I'm going to just move along. Let's see. Was there something else I wanted to point out here? Yeah, this had to do with the Taliban. He talked about the deals, kind of just the stuff that we just talked about. And of course, our military police force and soldiers, very, very supportive of our military, as you know, the president is. And that he also thanked Mike Pompeo, as Secretary of State, and Defense Secretary Esper, doing a great job. So he was very happy about that with regard, especially to this Taliban deal. And so here we have it. So this is very long. I'm going to go through it very quickly. Sorry, I'm scrolling, guys, but you know how it is on a blog, right? Oh my. See how long this is? I couldn't possibly go through the whole thing. I probably should have turned it off. Okay. Let me stop for a minute before I go on and just see how everybody's doing, chit chat. Yes, he is winning, and he is. Well, you know what, Robert? You're talking about the market crash. Everybody knows that it's a risk. Stock market is one of the most risky investments you can make. So, if the stock market crashes and everybody, has the right to take their money out, if you think there's going to be a crash or you think there's risk to the market, then don't be in it. They always say don't invest what you can't afford to lose, right? It's a gamble. You could take it to Atlantic City or Las Vegas, or you could take it to the stock market. There's still risks involved, So I think there's going to be an impact. I think we've been talking about that for quite a long time. There's also we are going to talk about the coronavirus, the latest reports on the all bankers' wars. Yeah, it's true. It's true. We are going to also talk about the coronavirus update. So let's get on to that. We're also going to talk about some executive orders and nominations sent to the Senate. So the president is so busy. I mean, he just doesn't stop. He just keeps going and going and going, like the Energizer Bunny. I mean, he really is. He's the Energizer Bunny. Here's a four nominations sent to the Senate. This is for judges. Yeah, I need to take a sip of tea. Hold on a second. Okay. So they're replacing retired judges. This is for Ohio, Wisconsin, and more Ohio. There you have it. Over 150 judges, folks. Let's hope they're going to do their job. President has more comments here, remarks made in press gaggles with the press on his way to or coming back from Marine One. And Secretary Azar, this was, which one was this? Yeah, these were remarks by the president. There's a lot of updates on the National Institutes of Health. There's a lot going on. Look, just in terms of the updates, so you don't have to read through all of these things. The latest in terms of the coronavirus is, so Vice President Pence had a news conference this afternoon. Let me just update you on this. He had a news conference this afternoon. Now he's confirming there's more than 100 people in the U.S. Confirmed with coronavirus. These are people, most of them are people who are transferred here, who are U.S. citizens, but were out of the country. So they have the right to come here for treatment. The risk, he says, is still very low. Just be proactive. They were trying to put out, what were they trying to put out? They were trying to put out, guidelines on how to protect yourself, like wash your hands for at least 20 seconds with soap and water. And they put out guidelines for nursing homes and hospitals, especially regarding the elderly and people who are already, maybe immune compromised and things like that. So they just say wash for at least 20 seconds with soap and water, wash your hands, use, what do they call it? Other kinds of things to sterilize things. And, you don't need to cough into your elbow, sneeze into a tissue, things just being like normally during, flu season, whatever. But this is the latest. So there are more than 100 in the U.S. altogether. That rose since the president gave his press conference later last week. So that's interesting. We have 17 new nominations sent to the Senate. We'll get to that. So let me screen share. Hold on. Where'd you go? Screen button. Let's screen share this page here and let's see if we can get down to the bottom. It's talking about how the virus was identified, messenger RNA. Phase 1 trial, they're talking about vaccinations. They're trying to get a vaccination for this. I would be careful about that, folks, but you definitely do what you want to do. I don't think we need a vaccination for anything, because it's not only what's in the vaccination, it's the other things in the vaccination that we have to be concerned about. I'm going to take this off screen share while I'm scrolling because I don't, yeah, here we go. All right, so it was only another minute. I'd rather go through the shorter updates here. You will always have an open door at the White House. This was yesterday. The coronavirus response is just the latest reminder. It's often local officials who are the first line of defense when it comes to protecting our communities. President Trump addressed many of these local leaders at the National Association of Counties Legislative Conference. In our great national renewal, my administration has made engagement with local leaders a top priority because nobody understands the needs of local communities better than the people in this room. As he had said, this was a quote from the president. He says, every day we are working with you to build a country where every town is booming. The president added, you will always have an open door at the White House, no matter what community you represent. And that is just the way the president is. He is always, very much always wanting to reach across the aisle because, of course, he is the master deal maker. So he knows he can still make a deal no matter what side of the aisle you're on. So here we have update low risk, but administration says stay vigilant against coronavirus. He has assembled a task force, and they're holding briefings every day, sometimes several times a day when they have new information. Hands on deck effort, so readiness preparations, things like that. I don't know, folks. It's like the Democrats were saying he wasn't doing enough. It's irresponsible. He's not asking for enough money. He's doing everything. What is he not doing? What is he not doing? I mean, this is ridiculous, right? Local leaders are getting the full support of the federal government to help fight the spread of the virus. Vice President Pence is in close contact with our nation's governors, making sure each one has all the resources necessary on the ground. Americans also deserve regular updates while the fight against coronavirus continues. And of course, we all agree with that, right? That's what we would expect from our government. Give us regular updates. We'll be back here every day, Vice President Pence said, referring to daily briefings from the White House task force. Get used to seeing us. Well, that's interesting. I'll let you think about that for a little while. So, risk is low, but get used to seeing us. Okay. That's an interesting note. Earlier yesterday, President Trump met with representatives from top pharmaceutical companies at the White House. He asked how the federal government could be most helpful in accelerating the development of a COVID-19 vaccine. Mm, mm, that bothers me. But anyway, we're working very hard to expedite the longer process of developing a vaccine. Okay, whatever. Since the start of the outbreak, my administration has taken the most aggressive action in history to protect our citizens, which they have. But folks, I'm going to tell you, I mean, I'm getting some info on the back channels, and what the back channels are indicating is that, it's very possible we could have some quarantine if this does, if it seems like there's like a pocket or a spread of this coronavirus. So it's very possible. It's very possible. I'm just talking about the possibilities. I'm not, it may be possible that we may have an interruption in school. Actually, I think it was reported that there were some schools that closed down in New York State. I did not get a verification on that report though, but I did see that report. I did hear that report. Um, I usually like to have a few sources before I report on it. But this is where I think things may, be prepared for something like this. We know that it's interrupted the food chain supply coming from China. So, you know, stock up, stock up for a month or two. Just make sure you have the most important necessities on hand, you know, for your family's needs, for you and your family's needs. If there's a quarantine for any reason in your community, for a pocket that may have broken out or something, you're going to need to make sure that you have some supplies that you can live off of for you and your family for I don't know, maybe 3 weeks, something like that. Also, there could be other interruptions, such as there could be emergency alert systems notifications that are coming as well. So just look out, because we don't know. The president said we don't know. It's under control. He's done everything he possibly could to contain this and to isolate this. But there are going to be new cases. There are people traveling from all over the world. The president has put bans on people coming from certain areas that have level 4 warnings in terms of not to, travel warnings, not to travel to these areas because of, like, for instance, Iran or Italy or China, because of the virus outbreak. So that's going to happen. So, anything could happen here. I think we should be prepared. We should definitely be prepared. And I wouldn't, I don't think any of your food, if you buy canned food for an extra month, I don't think it's going to go to waste. You'll eat it eventually. So it might be a good idea to just stock up on some things. Before I go back, I want to stop in. Hi, Shari. How's Audrey doing? Audrey's got, he's settling in. He's doing okay from what I heard. He's a little hard to reach these days, but I think he's doing better, and he's still on the mend, but he's definitely got things settled down now. Yeah. Jay Berwick. Jay, thanks for your comment there. Yeah, the judges told to step down because their names are on sealed indictments. Yeah, I can't wait to see that. I'm going to talk about this in a minute, but I want to finish doing the POTUS report, and then we'll have some comments on this, because we have to come to realize, folks, it's our responsibility to hold the government accountable. You know that we've had corrupt elements within our government, and like I was saying, is it really much different from communist China? At least they're upfront and they tell their people that they're not allowed to say things. Here, we pretend we're not allowed to say things. And the minute you say something, like you show some kind of dissenting opinion, you're attacked and you're targeted by the government. You know, look, I've been attacked and targeted as well. I've had death threats. I've had channels. I just screen shared in the beginning of this report how Facebook has blocked me for no apparent reason. I wasn't even using it today. Of course, they were probably overhearing my conversations with the Committee on Reporting the consumer issues regarding Facebook and YouTube and Twitter, what they're doing to Goldfish Report. And, you know, that's just the way it goes, right? You're trying to tell the truth. And we have our own problems with this, right? With our First Amendment. Okay, so let me continue because I wanted to make this short for tonight. And let's just move along to the other. Yeah, let me just make sure I go through all these long transcripts first because these transcripts are very, very long. Yeah. There's other things here. Please go to the blog, thegoldfishreport.blogspot.com, and then you can definitely check out these very long transcripts of other conversations. It's really it's a little bit more information than what we're talking about right now, but a lot of it does cover what we've already discussed. So I'm going to go on to a little bit more information right now. President Trump to award the Medal of Freedom. To the honor, the recipient is General Jack Keane. This prestigious award is the nation's highest civilian honor, which may be awarded by the president to individuals who have made especially meritorious contributions to the security or national interests of the United States, to world peace, or to cultural or other significant public or private endeavors. So you can come and take a look at a little bit of his background and why he was given this award. Of course, you have the First Lady attending the U.S. Department of Justice National Opioid Summit. She will be the keynote speaker on Friday. This is just a press release to let you know about that. She will deliver the keynote remarks. This is part of her Be Best initiative, supporting and dedicated to helping children and families affected by opioid abuse. The Department of Justice has been at the forefront of the fight against the opioid epidemic, and the First Lady will thank them for their efforts to combat our nation's drug crisis. Okay, so that's the press release. Let's keep going. We have executive orders regarding, or actually, this is a national emergency. So here we have, this is the letter to Congress, which you know is required. This is the text of the notice of continuation of the national emergency with respect to Zimbabwe. And, you know, this is the letter to the Congress, which is required, and it's also published in the Federal Register. You can find it there as well. And you can talk about that has to do with the actions certain people are taking in Zimbabwe. We're talking about trying to implement, Zimbabwe has had ample opportunity to implement reforms that could set the country on a constructive path, stabilize the southern African region, and open the door to greater cooperation with the United States. Unfortunately, the president's their administration has yet to signal credible political will to implement such reforms. Indeed, the Zimbabwean government has arguably accelerated its persecution of critics and economic mismanagement in the past year, during which security forces have conducted extrajudicial killings, rapes, and alleged abductions of numerous dissidents. Well, that's what the CIA does here. I mean, how is it any different? Honestly, people. I was like, here we're trying to take the moral high ground and we're criticizing other countries, and they do the same thing here. Unbelievable. Okay, so to certain people, not everybody, but to certain people, right? These actions and policies. Okay, so come and take a look at that. Here is again the text regarding the national emergency with respect to Zimbabwe. So here's another bill announcement. Here you have This has to do with veterans dental care. This is Presidential Transition and Enhancement Act. This has to do with making changes to the presidential transition process. And of course, here we also have Protecting America's Food and Agriculture Act of 2019, which authorizes the Department of Homeland Security's U.S. Customs and Border Protection to hire additional agricultural specialists, agricultural technicians, and canine inspection teams to improve the security of the nation's food supply. So that's what we have there. I do have a list of, let me see if I can find where I put it, of the 17, what else do we have? 17 nominations sent to the Senate. Presidential proclamations, I have to go over that. 17, yeah, here it is. I'm going to screen share this for everybody really quick. 17, folks, did you hear that? 17, what does that mean? Okay. So here we have Secretary of the Navy, we have Undersecretary of Defense. This is very military heavy here. Amtrak, Transportation, Nuclear Regulatory Commission, Director of Tennessee Valley Authority, U.S. Attorney for the District of South Carolina, Secretary of Defense, or Assistant Secretary of Defense, rather, United States Postal Service, Governor of the United States Postal Service, Secretary of State of Utah, Tennessee, members of the Board of Directors of Tennessee Valley Authority, Director of National Intelligence, so that would be Ratcliffe. Okay, Wisconsin Marshal, United States Marshal. So that's Anna Rosinski of Wisconsin to be United States Marshal. Ambassador Extraordinaire, Plenipotentiary of the United States to the Republic of Singapore. Here we have Chief Counsel. You can come and take a look at this, folks. I'm just kind of getting an idea of where all of these different appointments are. And of course, we have one withdrawal for the Undersecretary Comptroller. Okay, so let me see what else we have here. Bill announcement, which I did talk about, and I thought there was something else maybe that I wanted to screen share. Hold on, I don't want to scroll. Let me just check in with everybody and see how you're all doing. Don't take a vaccine even if you are quite sick, right? Because then it's too late because you have to let your body build up its own immune system, right? So medical martial law is right. Yeah, Deborah, it's possible, right? We should be prepared for that. Why not, right? We might have to have these to cut back on, or it could be a cover story, you never know what it is really. Could be any of that. So I just want to say hi to everybody out there. I just want everybody to know right now the Goldfish Report is really going through a major struggle. I do have a very major federal lawsuit. This does have to do with everybody's constitutional rights. It has to do with First Amendment freedom of the press. It has to do with First Amendment freedom of speech. It has to do with due process and equal protection under the law, regardless of your ability to pay and whether you represent yourself. You have to realize, folks, that if we don't stick together, when it's your turn, right? When it comes time for you to be looking for your rights and they're not there, then it's going to be too late. And you're going to be wondering, well, where did they go? Why, I thought I had rights and all of this other stuff. You really don't have any rights if you can't afford to defend them, folks. That's how it works in America. And I love this country, but we have to be realistic about how it really operates here, and we have to hold the government accountable. If you don't have the money to defend yourself in a court against false allegations of any kind, you don't have rights. That's not what they tell you, but that's in actuality how it works in a courtroom. So that's really what's very sad. Very sad. Let's see what else we have. Hi, everybody. Oh, thanks, Jesse. I appreciate that. Yep. I appreciate everybody joining me. I wanted to make this short tonight. And Hi, Sherry. Nice for you to join me again. I hope you're doing well, dear. So if anybody has any comments or questions, you can put it in the box here, but I am going to probably be starting a legal defense fund because really the survival of GoldFish Report is at stake at this point. If we can't report the news without constant censorship, death threats, without being demonetized, without being censored, without being personally retaliated against in a court system, folks, I've had it. I've been so persecuted, it's not even funny. And I'm going to tell everybody about it. They're probably going to have to talk more about it because people just need to know what's really happening in our court system today and how it's being used as a political tool to silence dissenters and to do really terrible things and deny people your right to what is your unalienable right, and we know what that means, right? They can't take away what's God given to us, right? Our life, liberty, and property, right? So let's just hope that we all come together. Yeah, right. Lots of room in Canada. Yeah, I may be heading up there. I'm not quite sure Canada's that much better though. I don't know. Canada's got some issues too. So look, thank you everybody for joining me tonight. I hope you enjoyed this POTUS report this midweek. And hopefully Friday, we'll have a shorter POTUS report for Friday night. Please like and share this video so we can get it circulated because they seem to be demonetizing everything. It's very hard to survive on these channels anymore because we're heavily censored. So yeah, Antarctica has 0 cases exactly of coronavirus, right? Exactly. That would be interesting, right? If they came up, sorry, came up with any there. So everybody, you have a great night. I'll see you back on Friday night for maybe Saturday night, but I'll see you back. Thank you, Anna. That's so nice. Thank you for that 199 for your super chat. I do appreciate that. Absolutely, folks. I'm going to have to start a legal defense fund because they, I don't even, if you even knew, oh, if you even knew, folks, if you even knew what they were doing, nobody would have lasted this long. 8.5 years of litigation, huh? Nobody would last this long. And I'll tell you that GoldFish Report needs all the help that we can get at this point in order to survive. It's just, there's no way to compete. There's no way to survive in a market with antitrust violations of these big companies and, blocking people, unsubscribing my subscribers. It's just ridiculous. And I'm just doing it for you. Trust me, it's a lot of stuff to go through. It's for myself. I don't need to do this, but I'm doing it for you because I want the public to be informed because it's your right to know. And that's okay. That's all right. Yeah, we'll do what we can, Jesse. You're here during the live streams, and that's a really great help. For the viewers who come and join me in the chat, I appreciate it. I just hope you're benefiting from the reports I'm giving you. I'm showing you what the president's doing. He is unstoppable. I'm trying to show how busy our president is, how much he's accomplishing, because when I started POTUS Report, it was about holding his feet to the fire. It was he wanted to drain the swamp, so we're going to make sure he's going to drain that swamp. And you know what? I haven't seen any, major arrests yet from this FISA, but I have a feeling it's coming very soon, folks. And I wouldn't be surprised if, Trader 44 was, among the first of them. So we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. Mark my words on that. Something's got to break sometime because the public we need to restore our faith in our judiciary. We need to restore our faith in our government because what we're seeing with this FISA abuse is we're seeing 17 times where they were lied to. The FISA court was lied to. But, and there was no oversight. When we have a judiciary that polices themselves, we have a problem. We're never going to have justice if we allow the judiciary to continue to police themselves. Folks, I can't stress this enough. If you only realized that's how it works. We all have to realize that you're not going to have any justice when you walk into that courtroom either. And you want to have that justice because you feel you're an American and you have rights, right? Well, let me tell you something. You find, right, my channel will explode. Yeah, they'll delete it again, just like they did to my blog on July 4th when I published those firework DNC files. All right, folks. Well, they were also on other places on the internet, but of course my channel got deleted. Takes two. Absolutely. So remember, folks, remember, we have to hold our government accountable. That's why I'm here. We, the people, for the people, by the people. It's by us. We're the checks and balances ultimately. But our voices are not going to get heard if we don't band together. Okay. Q always says, united we stand, divided we fall. They want us divided. We can't let them divide us. We have to stay united. Spread this information far and wide. Share it with everybody. We want to restore our republic. That's what we want to do. A lawful republic that follows our Constitution. I can't say it anymore. You know, wait until they start taking your kids from you. And what recourse do you have? You know, when you've done nothing wrong. Nothing. Right? Yeah. Hillary Rodham Clinton. I'll show it. Keep them stupid. Yeah. We're all on financial edge. Absolutely. It's tough. It's really, really tough. But I'm telling you, we are, GoldFish Report is in a fight for our life right now, folks. And we need as much support as possible. So get your friends on Twitter. I'm going to start a legal defense fund, and we need to protect our freedom of speech. That's what it comes down to. We need to protect our rights under our Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the charters of freedom. You know, we have the right to assemble. We have the right to ask for redress. We have a right to assemble peaceably and in the public forums. These are what the public forums are for, not to use it against and retaliate people, not to, find those people who are asking questions, asking for redress of grievance, and then targeting them. You can't do that, but they're doing it. So we need to fight this, or we're all going to lose it, folks. We're all going to lose it. We need to restore rule of law of our Constitution in this country. We have to have judges who are going to follow the Constitution, period. Okay, I think I've done enough. I've said enough. Everybody, you have a great night. We'll be back Friday night with the rest of our POTUS report for the week. And of course, Saturday night, we're always live. I'm not live, I'm sorry. We're always on Ascension Radio. We have our archives playing there, so you can listen to that as well. And we will be back again on Friday night. So have a great couple of days, and we'll see you then, everybody. You have a great night. This concludes this edition of the GoldFish Report, and thank you for joining us in our chat. I do enjoy seeing everyone's messages. So thanks for viewing, and have a good night.